How's it going, you guys? So I think it's time to make an update video since the I quit YouTube video. As many of you know, I have two channels, so I didn't quit YouTube, but I wanted to reserve my time and energy for the one that brings in my income, which is the construction one. So the thing that I couldn't predict is that I feel like the skateboard channel was actually only starting to come to fruition, but I couldn't see it. So to give you the example of like when you plant a fruit tree, it can take many, many years before you will ever see fruit on that tree. And it wasn't until shortly after making that video that a bunch of things happened that made me realize that I probably did that prematurely. And I didn't make that video impulsively or spontaneously. I had been thinking about it for months, like many months, and finally decided to do it. So funnily enough, as the chain of events it was after I made that video, the 9 Club, did that post where in their live stream where they talked about me quitting YouTube. And then in that section where they were talking, Chris goes, "Oh, I'd love to have him on the channel." And I was like, what? So I totally thought that I was like shadow banned from the 9 Club. I'd never met Chris or talked to him or anybody. I had messaged maybe once or twice in the past and never gotten anything back. And so yeah, I thought I was banned. So after he said that, I messaged him and I was like, hey, if you really mean it, I'll fly down there. I'd love to be on the show and chat with you guys. So that happened specifically because I made the video about quitting YouTube. It wasn't like some orchestrated chain of events, at least not by me. The universe has plans, but it wasn't by me. So I don't know if that ever would have happened if I hadn't made that video. And then the other thing, was the whole shape thing with Deluxe, right? The boards with them. That was something that had been slowly going for a long time. And I just didn't really realize that, it was going to become as big as it has. Like I've had my name in copy on ads on their Instagram, like repeatedly. I keep getting tagged in all these things from skate shops all over the place, from you guys buying the boards and tagging me. It's been a really cool and interesting experience to be a part of that. And I just don't think I saw all of this coming. So does that mean that I'm going to go back to being a review-based skate YouTube channel? Not really. Does that mean I'm going to start trying to get everyone's attention and making videos all the time again? Not really. I would like to start making them a little more frequently again, maybe 1 or 2 a month. But I don't know exactly how I'm going to go about it, because one of the things that I really dislike about YouTube and just the environment of it in general is that in order to get traction, you basically have to behave like an attention-starved child, like, look at me, look what I can do. I'm the best at this. I know the most about this. It's just become this really cringy way of like trying to capture people's attention all the time because the space has become so competitive. And I strongly dislike it and don't want to engage in all of those behaviors. That being said, I do miss making skate content a little more often. I'm still skating all the time. I'm playing around with my setup a little bit here and there, but not very much. And I do miss once in a while being able to talk about that. Also, one of the other things that I'm trying to do is I'm trying to think about like, how can I make the skate channel more viable? Because if I was actually getting more income from it, I would have more incentive to actually put out videos. One example would be the recent Vans review that I did. And I know there's probably some mixed feelings about that. And I had mixed feelings about putting it out, but I think it's worth talking about a little bit. So I was properly compensated for that video. And in my opinion, this is a good thing, right? I have a family, I have bills to pay, I have a future I'm trying to secure for my family. And one of the things that you guys probably don't know about that video is there was no script. There was a contract, but it wasn't like, you have to say this, this, and this. You can't say anything negative. So basically that video about the Vans shoe was more or less as I would have put it had they just sent me a pair of shoes. So for me, that was, a win, right? To be able to do a unscripted review on this channel and be well compensated for it. So I'm very grateful for that opportunity. And honestly, I've kept skating the shoe. Like, these are now 3 weeks in. They're still in really good shape. I've got tons of other shoes I could be wearing. Every time I try something else, I'm like, well, I'm not skating quite as well as I am in the Vans, but so I keep skating it. You know, I would say the only things that were detractors for me is like the look is a little bit too busy for me. You know, there's too much going on in this kind of area. So when I look down, I'm like not as stoked as I could be. Whereas I have these shoes that I've been really wanting to skate. While I haven't necessarily been stoked about the logo on most Asics, on this one model, I actually really like it a lot. I love the colorway, looks great in denim. I would say this shoe skates a little bit better than a Dunk, and it's similar, like it's Dunk-esque in its profile and everything, but I like the way it skates much better. There's a few things I would change about the shoe. Like the firmness of the sole and insole leads me to feeling like, I would say lack of firmness. It's a bit too soft. I feel like I'm kind of sliding around in the shoe, but overall I could skate pretty well in them. And I would be skating these if it wasn't for the fact that I just keep skating better in these ones. And until I have a shoe that I can skate as good or better, that I like the look of better, I might keep wearing these, although maybe I'll give these a shot today. Anyways, that's, you know, really all I have to say about the Vans thing. If another shoe company wanted to compensate me very well for another shoe and allowed me to say both some positive and negative things, which I did, right? With this, I mentioned the thing in the top of the foot where if you look in comments on anybody's review about these shoes, you're going to see people talking about that. I mentioned this part of the sole that's not going to work for people with a wide foot or a collapsed foot. You know, I mentioned that. I didn't get into the aesthetic. Like I said, I find it a little bit busy. And the price, I mean, that's your guys' decision. You can look up how much the shoe costs. You can look at the shoe and see how it looks and decide if it's for you. That's actually not my place to try and sway you. You know, I really wanted to just focus on the performance. Okay, and I have been messing around with my setup just a little bit, not too much. So this is still the 8.25 Easy Rider with the 14-inch wheelbase. Right now I've got some Venture Standards on here. These are the salt and pepper ones. I really like the white base plate, black truck, gold hardware, white bushings. Like, it's just kind of a nice look. Normally I don't like colored trucks at all, but like this one was doing it for me. So I want to try these. This is on the 14-inch wheelbase 825 if I didn't mention that, and then 52 millimeter classic F4s. I have tried the new Reynolds ones. And I'm sure some of you guys would love a video about those, but you know what? There's enough information online and in Slap comments that you can try those. So like, I kind of feel like I'm too closely associated with Deluxe now to go making a wheel review video for them. All anybody wants to know is like, how do they feel compared to Dragons? And like, I don't feel like I could make a Bones versus Spitfire 93 wheel video anymore. So why don't you guys tell me in the comments, what do you think about the Bones versus the Reynolds wheel, right? Like, I've tried them. I think they were great. I'm still on the regular 99s, but let me know in the comments what you think. You guys have as much or more info than I do. Collectively, we can paint a way better picture about a product than I can just sitting here talking about my biases. Anyways, I'm probably gonna skate this setup a little bit today. Don't know exactly what shoes I'll skate it on. And there was, before I get to the skating, there is one other new development that I'm going to get into, and that is I'm doing some partnering with Tactics. So some of you guys may have seen them in some of my more popular videos. I've got a few cards in the video. I'm not sure if this is the way I want to go about it or not, but basically, if you make a purchase through one of the links in the description of my video, like through the Tactics website, I will make a commission. So it's one of these ways that we can support the channel without it having to take anything away from you. Like in the past, I tried Patreon. I don't like it. I think I'm going to cancel it. Patreon has never not felt like begging to me. I just don't like it. But with a Tactics link, like if you're already going to shop at Tactics, then when you buy something, it supports the channel. So neither of us is losing anything through that interaction. I would say the only thing we have to think about is skate shops, right? Like local skate shops. If you have a great local skate shop, support it. you know, but if you can't find what you're looking for or the shop's not bringing it in, feel free to use the tactics links, right? It's a win-win for both of us in that situation. But do consider the skate shops too. Now, on that note, that is a lot of talking. I appreciate your guys' patience and understanding with all these things that I feel need to be said. And I think, yeah, a little later today, I'm gonna try this out. I'll let you guys know how it feels. So I mentioned I've been messing around with my setup a little. That was actually the best feeling kickflip I've done in a long time on any setup. Tried indies, tried a slightly longer wheelbase, but yeah, 14-inch wheelbase on the Venture Raws, standards, whatever you want to call them. Felt good. Shoe might have helped, I don't know. Good flick maybe. Oh, well, that session was actually quite a pleasant surprise. I didn't know how I would like the Venture Standards versus the forged ones that I've been riding lately. I do like the forged plates in that they're lower, but I like that the regular Venture cast plates are a little bit in. So I don't know if you guys know that, but the Venture forged plates are drilled a bit different. That actually puts your wheelbase out a tiny bit further. Like overall, it's probably about 3 millimeters. I'd say roughly 1/8 of an inch your wheelbase is wider when you ride forged plate Ventures. And I find that that makes the turn not as good. It just does some kind of weird things, although I like those ones way better for grinds. And I also feel like the forged plate Ventures flip a bit faster. But I don't know, I really liked this. Oh, I also love, I don't know if you guys could see the plies. It's got like the purple and the yellow. Really nice ply combo. Yeah, had a great session on this. Felt like backside Smith grinds were easier because my axles were further in. I could just like sit on it a tiny bit better. I wasn't getting pulled down as much. So there's some benefits to these. They manual a little bit better because of that wheelbase being in a tiny bit. But I kind of feel like I had better pop on these because the pop feel is actually slightly lighter than the forged plates. And yeah, it just seemed to work really well. A little bit taller, so my truck gets up a bit more, a little bit easier. Felt good. 360 flips felt a little bit better. But overall, it was actually a very small change. And that's one of the things that I've been doing a lot lately, is trying to make as few changes as possible. Because one thing I've learned over, 6 years of changing my setup all the time and 1 year of not changing it very much, is the best setup you can have is the one you're already used to. If you have a truck you already know, you have a deck that you already know, stick with like at least 1 or 2 constants and only make very small changes. That's the best for the progression. So again, the best setup you can have is the one you already know. Yeah, anyways, board felt great, had a good time on it. Pleasantly surprised with how it was operating. Change wasn't as big as I expected. The shoes, I actually got used to these yesterday. Really started to like them. I think I'm gonna keep them on. They look really good at that spot too. They match the ledges, which was a pleasant surprise. This reminds me of creamsicles. You know, I was a little bit hesitant with Asics. Like when the rep reached out and was like, hey, can I send you some shoes? I ranted like Instagram messages, but I was like, dude, I don't know. I just like, do we need another logo heavy sports brand in skateboarding? I'm so bummed. I just want plain boring shoes, blah, blah, blah. I ranted and he was like, you know what? The fact is the kids only want noisy shoes. He was like, we try to make more subdued basic ones and they don't sell. You know, everybody wants to be showing what brand they have on their feet. And so unfortunately, the market dictates this and that's what we've got. But I actually love this colorway of this shoe. And the shoe itself skates quite well once I got used to it. I also have these ones, which I know the Gen Z crowd and the people that like things that are a little bit different, they probably love this colorway. I don't like this colorway. And also it's a really common colorway. So there's like a Tom Knox, what is it? The New Balance shoe that's the same colorway. There's the Beatrice Van shoe that's the same colorway, the Zaba or Jabba, however you say it. But this, when I see three different colorways or three of the same colorway from three different brands, I don't know if you guys know this, but every year there's like a convention to pick the colors for products for the next year. I don't know exactly how it works, but basically all these large corporations meet up and they decide all of the colors so that things are more coordinated per season. And this, you know, the black sole and then the army green upper was obviously one of the agreed upon color schemes at their annual color convention. I'm not making it up. This is an actual thing. So when I see that many companies doing the same thing, I don't know, just kind of bugs me, rubs me the wrong way. I think this shoe is actually probably the better skating one. The orange one is the Japan Pro. This is the Vika. I think out of the box, this one's gonna skate a little bit better, but I'm looking for what this shoe has to offer, which is a more bulky cup sole. Again, skated better than the Dunk in my opinion, like by a long shot. I tried wearing the Dunks again recently and I don't know like why it works for some people, because every time I try on a Dunk, I'm like, if this shoe could make me skate worse, I'd be surprised. Like every trick I do gets like 3 inches lower. I feel like the Dunks just take away like half of the nerves in my feet the instant I put them on, whereas these ones aren't so bad. And then these ones are that kind of like thin, slim down cup sole that's really good. In terms of like lots of board feel, the flicks are good and on point instantly, but my guess is that the durability on these shoes and the impact protection in general is not going to be what you get out of the Japan Pro. So there you go. Surprise Asics review out of nowhere. Yeah, I think what you can expect coming up in the videos is maybe more stuff like this where I just film and talk about what I've been trying, what's going on, but it's not so specific. And the titles and thumbnails are not going to be so specifically attention grabby. Basically, this channel is going to be for the people who know what it's about, and anybody who needs some obnoxious thumbnail and title to click on a video, go watch that crap. Anyways, I'm done. I have no idea if I'm going to post this video unedited or if I'll get it into the video editor and be like, I hate this. Nobody's going to see this. No idea. Anyways, I hope you guys are doing really well. Now you at least have a better idea of where I'm at and what's going on. I hope you guys are doing really well. I hope you've been fortunate enough to be able to be on your board. Not all of us are. For some people, just watching stuff is their only connection these days to skating. It's the best they can do. And, you know, in due time, that'll come for any of us, right? We can't all skate forever, so enjoy it while you can. Anyways, thanks for watching. Till the next one.